what is up? We are back in Prokhorovka and I am in the STA-2. This is actually a rental. I think you do some missions and you get this for rental, like 16 games or something like that. So I thought I'd make a video out of it and see what I can do about it. Anyway, this is my first game in the STA-2. I've never had any experience in the STA-2. First time playing it. I did grind through the STA-1, which is on the tech tree, a long time ago. Now this thing, what is this thing about? Well, in a nutshell, I guess I can say, well, I've played this tank a couple of times already, of course, but I can say this tank is like an acquired taste, is what I would like to say. Well, first of all, I have some good vision control here. As you can see, I have some kind of view range 435. I'm probably running food and BIA on this crew, and it seems like I have a bit of camouflage value as well, because no one is spotting me on this thing. Of course, I have my STB crew on this thing, but my STB crew is no big deal. I don't think it's even 2.5 skill crew or anything like that. So I don't think my STB crew is that great, but I'm having a great time with this tank at the moment, sniping from a distance. I seem to be able to spot things and things aren't spotting me, so that's the good news. That's my first reaction about this tank. It does 240 damage on average, and it has 212 penetration on the standard AP shells, and 275 penetration on the premium heat shells. Now the thing about the AP shells, it's got 850 meters per second shell velocity, and on the heat shells it has 853 meters per second shell velocity. It carries 50 shells, so that's pretty good. It carries a lot of shells, but the dispersion on this thing is what I want to talk about. It is 0.34 dispersion, and it has a 1.93 seconds aim time. This is with food and vertical stabilizers and rammers. 0.34 and 1.93 aim time. I don't know what kind of dispersions you're used to, but for me, this isn't really sufficient as a long distance sniper. I miss a lot of my shots, and you're gonna see from the post-game results how many shots I missed and things like that. I wasn't very happy, needless to say. Now, of course, I have to take into account my crew skills, which is 2.5 or something like that. So it's a nothing to shout about. So maybe that contributes to the accuracy of the gun. I'm pretty sure it does, but how much, I'm not sure. This tank does have a 10-degree gun depression capability. It has 55 kilometers an hour top speed and 20 in reverse, which means it's fairly nimble. It can shift. I mean, you can wiggle around, you can shift, you can relocate. It is possible to do that on this thing, but the problem with one of the downsides of this tank is it's got no armor at all. Being one of these Japanese medium tanks, you just can't rely on this armor at all. It's got zero armor, so anything that hits you, it's going to pen. So it's not even worth mentioning, talking about armor in this thing. However, like I said early in this game, this is something that has to be an acquired taste, and I felt that playing so many games in this tank. I felt like I know some people do really well in this tank, but I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be one of them. And that's because it doesn't have any kind of redeeming qualities that make it stand out. It is not particularly great in sniping. It does not have a particularly high alpha damage. It is not particularly accurate. It is not particularly nimble or mobile. I mean, this tank is like a jack of all trades. It does everything, but it doesn't do anything specifically great. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can shoot, it has a gun, the gun works, but it's not like the most accurate gun. It has a little bit of mobility, but it's not like the greatest mobility. It doesn't, you know, it's not the strongest point. And that's the feeling that I'm getting in this tank. And you see me struggling here, and I'll tell you straight off, at the end of this game, you're gonna find me shooting 36 rounds and only connecting 20 of them. So I fired 36 rounds and I connected only 20, and guess how many penned? Only 11 of those shots penned. Mind you, I did fire a lot of blind shots into that bowl position up on the hill. Obviously this position here it's difficult to hit, let alone pen. So yeah, that's one of the rare few that I did pen. And I'm got so frustrated and I switched out to the heat shells to see if I can, you know, get any kind of shots. There, another pen there. It didn't happen very often, so I was very disappointed in that. But I'll take what I can get. The hill is getting pummeled, and partly my fault because I didn't pen my shots, or I didn't land my shots. Again, that was heat shells, but it didn't pen. What can I say? I'm doing my best here. The reload time, 6.5 seconds or 6.19 seconds, isn't too bad. But you need to hit your shots, and when you hit your shots, you need to pen them. And if you can't pen them reliably with premium shells, what can you do? That's just the way it is. And I'm getting frustrated here. We've lost the hill, and I can't hold this position any longer, because once you've lost the hill, you can't really be on the tracks anymore, because they're gonna be flanking you from behind you where the base is, down on the A line. And if you're caught out on the 5 line on the tracks, you're just going to be shot in the butt. So that's not a good place for me to hold my position. So I've decided to fall back onto the bridge here, and if it's possible for me to spot for my team, I'll try to spot those guys that are going to be flanking us from the back, from our base side, from the A line, which is what I mean. So I'm gonna be here and see if I can use my newfound spotting and camo ability, if I can spot anything for those guys on the one line, to snipe into them. And here they are already here. And I wanted to get this guy actually before he crossed, but unfortunately he's already held down. I'll see if I can snipe this guy. And here we go again, critical hit. Pen him there once, but then it's a 1-for-1 trade. Totally not worth it. I had to take 421 damage just to get a little bit of damage out of that guy. Totally not worth it. But I'm gonna maintain my position here and see if I can continue to spot for my team. We're down 4 tanks already. I've only done 1.4k damage here so far. Really tuppence. Didn't really do much at all. I felt like I was not very useful. And there again, another one of those shots that just hit the dirt. because I couldn't fully aim in time before he ducked down. So I pulled the trigger and it just hit the... again, I was almost fully aimed there and it still didn't hit. So very frustrating for me because the gun just wouldn't work. Now if I was in something else like a T-44-100 or one of the American medium tanks, I would have hit those shots more reliably. And unfortunately, that's GG for me. It says here I've done 1500 damage or something like that, but I did hit a lot of blind shots, and my total was 2.6k damage in this game, which means I hit a lot of blind shots into those guys that were crossing from the base and onto the hill, and probably a couple of blind shots onto those guys on the hill. It was still a very frustrating game for me because if I had connected some of those shots, I would have done a lot more damage, I guess. And although I did 1.7k of spotting damage, it still wasn't very satisfactory at all. Maybe we wouldn't have won this game anyway, but I could have squeezed out a bit more damage. Probably closer to 3k damage in my first game. But well, what can I say? I did my best. My team kind of let me down, and I felt like I could have done a lot better if I had a more reliable gun, I guess. And so there you go, 2.6k damage, 1.7 spotting. This was my first game. I guess that was the best I could do. I couldn't ask for more. And I guess thanks for watching. That was my first impression of this tank. If you're going to get this tank, I suggest you think twice. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.